5 boxers in the history of boxing. Salvador Sanchez.
Yep.
Everybody said he was so young.
Did a lot of people say that?
Yeah.
All right.
Best fight I ever saw, honestly, skill-wise, was a guy by the name of Salvador Sanchez.
Yes, guys, welcome back on the channel. You heard it. Super legends Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Roy Jones Jr., they both say that Salvador Sanchez is one of the best, if not the best fighter they've ever seen. So this video is going to be about Salvador Sanchez. I've only ever seen this fight once, and I only seen the highlights. So what's going to happen, I'm going to watch this entire fight on 0.5 speed, and I'm going to point out the technical greatness of Salvador Sanchez, everything I see, everything I figure out. And I only watched one other fight. I watched his fight against Danny Lopez. So this is very entertaining for me. I've already seen a few things that happened here around one. His opponent definitely came to fight. If you paid attention to those hooks, bro, let me just stop talking and just jump right into the video. Let's go. So first things first, let's just give credit to Azumah. Look at that lead hook, and he also just uses head movement, dipping over his rear leg, bending at the waist right after landing that hook. So Azumah Nelson just landed a good gazelle hook there. Now you can see Salvador Sanchez instantly making adjustments. Look, he's not letting him settle now. He starts to move and circle him. He's using skip steps and footwork to laterally move around Azumah Nelson. And he's even punching while he's moving around him. So that is great boxing skill. He wouldn't just stand there for too long. Look, he's light on his feet. Salvador Sanchez is finding his rhythm right now. That's what he's doing. Salvador Sanchez is, listen, I'm going to put a video in the comment section, a video link of Tommy and Keller, a Hall of Fame coach, explaining what Salvador Sanchez done there. That was his signature move on how to land the right hand. Let me just play back. Salvador Sanchez turtles down while lifting up the lead glove high, and then he shoots the lead rear overhand. I don't know why he is so successful landing that punch in so many of his fights. I've seen him, good body shots there. He's so successful landing that lead rear overhand because he's making his opponent look at him lifting his lead glove up and turtling down. And then he's exploiting that reaction of his opponent. His opponent is looking at his lead glove and his head turtling down. And then he has that little angle of opportunity to shoot the overhand. So he's just using timing to his advantage. Very, very advanced mechanic of boxing. That's his signature thing to do. There is going to be a video in the comment section if you want to know how it's done. And now off to the next good. We're going to see him do this a lot. He just done it again there. Not the same way, but we're going to see him do this a lot this fight. Good counter there by Azumah Nelson. Off to the next good detail. Azumah Nelson catches Salvador Sanchez backhand and shoots his own right hand back. He also synchronizes body mechanics while catching Salvador Sanchez's right hand with his lead glove. So he's sitting way into his rear hip while defending, setting up a counter with power. Sanchez uses the misplacement of Azumah Nelson's rear hand to win an exchange. He has his rear hand at the side of his face when throwing the hook, and Azumah Nelson just has it low. Why do I point this out? This is just a fundamental thing. So Salvador Sanchez is a very high skilled fighter. Plus he's doing all the he's got the fundamentals. Okay, he got the basic fundamentals while being super skilled. That's why people speak so highly of him. The hand placement, while throwing a hook, while throwing jabs, while throwing crosses, his hands are right there where they're supposed to be. That's why he can enter exchanges confidently. Off to the next round. Now after round 2, Azumah Nelson shows good defense, weaving under Salvador Sanchez's right cross and then pulling back the hook, taunting there a little bit. And that's good jabs from Azumah Nelson. So what Azumah Nelson done there is he uses jabs. And he also uses lateral movement while he's throwing those jabs, which makes him a difficult target to hit. I want to replay that. Pay attention to how Nelson steps with his lead foot simultaneously while he's throwing those jabs. So these jabs aren't effective. Are these jabs hurting Salvador Sanchez? No, they don't. Are they landing, and do the judges see them? Yes, they do. So it's a good thing. And Azumah Nelson just showed good defensive stuff there. He was weaving under Salvador Sanchez's right hand while throwing a body shot, and then he came back with a hook to the head. It didn't land, but it was a good thing to do. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about now. So here's how Azumah Nelson would counter Salvador Sanchez 1-2. He's weaving under his cross, throwing a body shot while he's weaving, and then he's trying to come back with a hook over the top. That's bro, if you box or if you coach, drill this or teach this. That's a real crafty, real good counter to the 1-2. So why am I pointing Azumah Nelson out? I need you to understand this is a serious fight. This is a real fight for Salvador Sanchez, and Salvador Sanchez, this is also his last fight. He died shortly after this fight, which is real tragic, man. RIP. But now back to the video, and yeah, man, that's just real sad. And now back to the video and the next good detail. Only time I'm going to point this out this video. Salvador Sanchez is already using his jab, trying to figure out Azumah Nelson, showing his incredible high-level skill. He's using his jab, jumping back because he's expecting something to come back. He's just using footwork now and not other defensive maneuvers because he's trying to read Azumah Nelson. Therefore, he's using his jab to understand Azumah Nelson's pattern. He is trying to set up a counter here because he's trying to find out what Azumah Nelson likes to come back with and react to with his jab. Okay? So Salvador Sanchez is using his jab, trying to figure out Azumah Nelson. First and last time I'm going to say this. If you watch my videos, the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard do this all the time, using the jab to trigger a response out of their opponent. Real high-level, crafty stuff. Off to the next good detail. Look at Salvador Sanchez's body mechanics while he's throwing the right hand. You seen that? And now he lands a beautiful hook. He's slipping over his lead side while throwing the cross, avoiding Azumah Nelson's cross, doing that. People call it taking the head off the center line while punching. Good combination, that good short combination by Salvador Sanchez. Damn, yeah, he's not usually doing this, so he's not taking his head off the center line all the time. He done it because he anticipated Azumah Nelson's cross. So to avoid it, he would cross with him, but he's taking his head off the center line. So he lands his cross while avoiding Azumah Nelson's cross. Good technique. Off to round 3. Both fighters utilize on their jab again. So Salvador Sanchez throws a jab, Azumah Nelson comes back with 2 jabs, and Salvador Sanchez replies to that with his own jab. And if that tells you anything, then the jab is the best counter to the jab. Now look at that great defense by Salvador Sanchez. So he's weaving under the cross, and there he has his rare elbow in place to catch the body shot. He didn't see Nelson throw the body shot. That is muscle memory. He has that hand placement, and his rare elbow is covering his body in a way that catches body shots. It's just great elbow placement, great hand placement. So Salvador Sanchez had great hand positioning. Right here again, as I'm speaking about it. So now he's even countering it. And maybe you're saying, why is he shooting the hook so low? So Salvador Sanchez, he is really trying to hit the tip of your chin, the tippy top of your chin. That's what he's trying to snipe. So he's shooting the hook so low because he wants to rattle your brain against your skull and therefore make you dizzy. So he can send you to the floor better. It's just Salvador Sanchez understands if you want to knock your opponent out, you need to shoot for the tip of the chin. Here it is again. Sanchez is baiting you, going low with his head and high with his hand, landing the overhand. That's his signature move. He's landing it again here. I know why that works so well. He's going low with his head and he's raising his lead hand to make your vision focus on something else than his backhand. After round 4, we got Salvador Sanchez still trying to figure Azumah Nelson out, relying on feints here. So he's using feints. Look at, and Azumah Nelson he's reacting to those little movements that Salvador Sanchez does. Now Salvador Sanchez noticed that Azumah Nelson doesn't come back with anything when he feints, so he will just commit to a jab. And Azumah Nelson, great defense there by Salvador Sanchez. Let me play that back, bro. That was so nice. He's blocking 4 punches here. So he catches the counter jab with his rear hand. He blocks the body shot with his lead hand. And then he bends at the waist, ducks over his lead leg to avoid the cross, and weaves back to his rear side to avoid the lead hook. So that is some good-ass defense. And this kind of defense is not something that good backhand there. That's not something that he does reacting to Azumah Nelson's punches. That is something that he drilled in training, right? So this defense, you get this kind of defense, especially the bending at the waist defense, by repeating it over and over again. That's why the best Hall of Fame coaches say drillers make killers. Salvador Sanchez is using an old school art of infighting, placing his head on Azumah Nelson's pec and chest. Azumah Nelson's feeling pressured. He's moving back, and Salvador Sanchez is using the opportunity to land 2 body punches around the guard. That's real good infighting there. So Salvador Sanchez is shooting a right hand, moving his head off the center line while throwing it. That does 2 things, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. First, he's landing a right hand while Azumah Nelson's right hand misses. Secondly, he's sliding himself to the inside of Azumah Nelson's hook. Look at that. Azumah Nelson's hook misses him. He's on the inside. He can counter it with body shots. That's some real good stuff there. So he is sliding himself, and that's good defense by Azumah Nelson. He's also going to land a very solid jab in a second. He's pulling back, and then he's countering with a jab. Lands a good jab there, but that's real good, real crafty stuff by Salvador Sanchez. That's a real skill right there. So he's beating Azumah Nelson's right hand while throwing it simultaneously with him, moving his head off the center line. So he's hitting his right hand while Azumah Nelson misses his right hand. And he's also sliding himself to the inside of his lead hook. So that's some real crafty stuff. Good try here by Azumah Nelson, slipping to the outside, trying to counter Salvador Sanchez's jab with an overhand. But Salvador Sanchez just effortlessly bends at the waist and avoids that kind of counter.
Salvador Sanchez likes to bend at the waist after throwing a jab to be defensively responsible. There he thinks, or he sees even, Azumah Nelson countering his jab. And he just bends at the waist over his front leg, over his lead leg. So he would also bend over his rear leg. He just bends at the waist to avoid counters. That's what Salvador Sanchez likes to do, to be defensively responsible after throwing jabs and other punches. Now Sanchez tries to set up his overhand again, and Azumah Nelson counters it with an uppercut. So that is pretty clean, bro. That is pretty clean. I don't know if he actually adjusted to Salvador Sanchez. Oh, that was a good body shot by Nelson. That's some real good stuff by Nelson there. That's a good fight. Damn, that's a good counter, bro. Those body shot counters by Azumah Nelson are proper. Some real good stuff here. Off to round 5. Now, off to round 5, Salvador Sanchez tries to land his signature overhand again. There it was. As I said, if you want to know how it's done, if you want to see how a Hall of Fame coach breaks this kind of technique down, it's going to be in the comment section, bro. You can find it in the comment section. Off to the next good detail. Sanchez has been doing a great job of just stuffing that stiff jab in between his high guard. So people just really, this is an underrated detail of the jab. It just fully hard counters the high guard. If you got a good jab, then reaction time is slower than action time. So Salvador Sanchez's jab isn't telegraphed in the slightest. So he just keeps landing good stiff jabs through the high guard of Nelson. Now a little side note here. What Duran would do, he would fake the high guard. So Duran's high guard wouldn't be his choice of defensive guard. He would bait you into throwing the jab so he can counter it. So that if you feel like you're so much faster than your opponent, your high guard can be an invitation for punches like the jab. So Duran would invite the jab by putting up a high guard and then slipping to the inside and counter it with an inside slip up jab, like a long uppercut. Just back to this fight. Next good detail. Sanchez is one of the best inside fighters I've ever seen. Look at how he places his head. Right? He places his head on Azumah Nelson's chest. I'm going to replay it. Now, what does this do? He is blinding Azumah Nelson's vision of his lead hand, and therefore he can shoot an uppercut right off his head. He's using his head as a tool to blind Azumah Nelson's vision. Azumah Nelson can't see Salvador Sanchez's fists when he has his head on his pec like that. So it's having your head on the inside of your opponent's chest on the inside is a very underrated, great old school way of fighting on the inside. It's just never taught nowadays. So I know how it's done because I purchased the video, old school bobbing and weaving, ducking and rolling on Tommy and Kello's website. And if you want to take boxing serious, then I highly recommend you to check out his website. It's www.worldclassboxinggym.com. It's basically knowledge you learn from a Hall of Fame coach. All right, back to the video. I'm start to speak again. I just love speaking about boxing, but now off to round 6 and the next good detail in round 6. Yes, Sanchez is using his jab to trigger Azumah Nelson's jab and then counter Azumah Nelson. There it is, and now he counters it. He was looking for that jab. Sanchez was looking for that jab so he can throw the right hand and over it. Yeah, that's some good skill by Sanchez there. That's some real good skill. See, look at that. He's looking for that jab of Azumah Nelson so he can throw his overhand over his jab. And yeah, man, that's some crafty stuff by Sanchez there. And see how he uses his jab to the head and body to just out. So two things are going on when Sanchez is exploiting the high guard like that. So firstly, he's winning the round by points. Right? So when you land jabs, that's clean punching. That's winning you the round. And then he's also setting up other punches. That jab to the body just makes his signature move way more effective because he can bait Azumah Nelson into thinking he's going to throw a jab to the body. But in reality, he's throwing a right overhand. So landing jabs is just
that's just a great, like, the jab is the best punch in boxing for so many reasons. Off to the next good detail. Look at how Sanchez dips over his lead leg to make it seem like he's just defending, like he's bending at the waist over his lead leg, but now he's coming back with a hook this time. And now look at this short, nasty combination. Here he's turning a lead uppercut into a forearm frame to pin Azumah Nelson's high guard and land two nasty body shots.
I just love what I'm seeing here by Sanchez. Right cross to the body, chaining it with a lead hand to the liver. Oh, I love that combination. That's so good. You can also... And now he chains the overhand with a lead uppercut. If you throw the right cross to the body and you chain that with a lead hook to the body or a lead liver shot, you can also follow that up with a right hand to beat his check hook. So that's just some inside information that I learned out of Tommy and Kello's advanced blocks and parries. So yeah, man, off to round 7. After round 7, Salvador Sanchez lands a nasty lead hook. He's bending at the waist over his lead leg after figuring Azumah Nelson out. And now he's hiding his lead hand by bending at the waist. Look at how he's hiding his hand. Azumah Nelson doesn't see the hook until it's right on top of him. And bro, that's rocking him. He gets so much leverage by bending at the waist over his lead leg. And just look at how he's looking for body shots now. The second he hurts his opponent, Salvador Sanchez, he's not headhunting. He's trying to... Oh my goodness, that's a nasty... That's so short. I bet most people didn't even see that. I'm going to replay that. That's nasty. So it's a full punch combination. He bends over his lead leg. There is a hook. There is a short right hand. Now he shoots an uppercut. And he has his right hand position and he shoot that hook off the uppercut. He was trading those blows with Azumah Nelson. He's trading hooks there. So Salvador Sanchez has his right glove pinned, glued to the side of his face when he's throwing the lead hook. That's why he won that exchange and that's why he sent him to the floor. So the combination that he threw there is he threw a lead uppercut. He threw a lead uppercut and then he followed that up with a lead hook to the head. And now look at this nice jab of the lateral movement. Oh, nice crisp jab. Here Sanchez is bending over his lead leg, bending at the waist. He has his red glove in the cross guard and he shoots a hook off of it. He's got so much success doing that. And now the way he catches that body shot and tries to counter with a hook, that is nasty, bro. So first bending at the waist, shooting the hook. And there Azumah Nelson goes to the body. He catches it and he tries to counter with a hook again. But Azumah Nelson has good head positioning there. It's just awkward for Sanchez to punch a hook on that distance. So I can really talk about that bending at the waist, the old school art of bobbing and weaving, ducking and rolling that Sanchez is also using and utilizing on the cross guard in that way of bobbing and weaving. I can really talk about that a lot because that's what I'm training right now. I purchased the old school bobbing and weaving, ducking and rolling. That's the only video that I haven't owned so far on Tommy and Kello's website. I've been training it this whole month. And so I'm watching a lot of fighters that would use this old school art of bending at the waist, ducking, rolling, bobbing and weaving. And yeah, man, that's just why I want to do Henry Armstrong as well. I want to study Henry Armstrong. That's going to be my next film study. Henry Armstrong and Salvador Sanchez. I'm enjoying watching these fighters right now just because I can get inspiration for my own workout as well. And now he done it. He lands it again. He done it again there. See that? Wait, let me replay that whole sequence, bro. It's so effective. I keep telling you, bro. So Sanchez is bending. So he's bending at the waist over his lead leg with his eyes facing the floor, his rear hand under his chin. And he touches him with that hook so bad that he is still just... Look at how shaky he is on his legs. Sanchez just effortlessly avoids Azumah Nelson's body attacks. And Azumah Nelson is just off balance just because, look at that beautiful upper body head movement. And again, I keep saying this in every of my videos. He is bending at the waist. He is not bending at the knees. And so if your coach is telling you don't bend at the waist, then just literally just tell him Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Salvador Sanchez, Henry Armstrong, just the all-time great fighters. They would use this not once around, but they would use this all the time over every singular round in every singular one of their fights. So it's a lost art that you're seeing here. Sanchez would use a jab and then bend at the waist to avoid the counter and then come back with a big hook. Now that's the nice thing to do. He's bending over his lead leg. He's bending at the waist over his lead leg and comes back with a big hook. Here you can use Sanchez use some real good head movement supported by bending at the waist. He's using the old school art of bobbing and weaving there. Off to round 9. You can see Sanchez using some real good inside fighting here. He's doing it again. He just done it again there. He bent at the waist over his lead leg. He just tried it again. Why is he trying it? Because he's got great success with it. Now in this clip, see how Sanchez dips down to show the jab to the body, but he shoots the jab to the head instead. You call it a level change. See how he dips down low, but then he shoots it to the head? Yep. Good feint there. Here Nelson shows that he can adjust to Salvador Sanchez bending at the waist. He lands a crisp uppercut after Salvador Sanchez bends at the waist over his lead leg. Now I'm thinking to myself, before we go over to round 10, is Salvador Sanchez doing that to bait the uppercut so he can beat it with a lead hook? There you can just see some good defense by Salvador Sanchez. And in this clip, Sanchez is just using jabs with great lateral movement so he isn't getting hit. Great stuff by Sanchez there. Here he's throwing an overhand over Azumah Nelson's jab after triggering it with his own jab. That's just some great stuff. Now in this next clip, look at Salvador Sanchez. He's using a great pivot here. So he's weaving under his cross and then he pivots out. That's some good stuff. You should play that back and copy that yourself if you box. Or you can teach that to your fighters if you coach. Some crisp combination there by Sanchez. Lead hook to the body, lead uppercut, right cross to the head. And there is just a good display of how the majority of this round looks. Them just exchanging jabs. Here Sanchez is just doing a great job of jabbing using lateral movement. So he's circling him. Look at that. He's circling his opponent, throwing jabs. He's stepping laterally while jabbing. And now look at this monster inside fighting. Double lead hand to the liver, and then he even tries to throw the overhand over the hook that he gets caught with, which is a good try. This is how you can see Salvador Sanchez's elite boxing skills. Look at how he instantly uses that gap with a lead right hand. Bow, he just lands that flush. Now I need you to understand what Salvador Sanchez does here. So Salvador Sanchez is using a weave under his right hand to bring a right over, that's good inside fighting. So he's using his head as the vehicle. He's weaving under Nelson's cross and he brings the right hook after the weave. Nelson doesn't see that shot. Now after round 12, look at this nasty body shot by Salvador Sanchez. He's bending at the waist over his lead leg and he just brings that lead shovel hook to the body. That just looks nasty. And also the inside fighting of Salvador Sanchez just always contains a lot of bobbing, weaving and body shots as well. So with bobbing, I mean like ducking, bending at the waist. He does that a lot. He's not just doing it on the inside. He's doing that. Look at that. He's bending at the waist, going backwards. And now he skip steps, circling out. So he's not just going back in a straight line. Now here's another good detail in round 12. Look at those lateral movement jabs. This is super underrated, bro. So he's stepping with the lead foot. So to do this right, you need to land the punch when the foot lands. So step up and over and land the foot when the punch lands. And then just pivot out with the rear foot after. Off to round 13. Just look at this brilliant try. He's placing his head, baiting the jab. Now he's bending at the waist, placing the head over the lead leg. And now he tries to counter the jab with a big hook. Good try there. Good nice trap there. Salvador Sanchez got a nasty... That's this combination. I just love throwing this combination myself. So you shoot a right hand to the body and then you follow it up with a lead hand to the body. And Salvador Sanchez even chains it with a lead uppercut. So that's just nasty combination. Now, after round 14, Salvador Sanchez yet again exploiting the best punch in boxing, the jab. He's in his rhythm, he's ready to step back and defend, and now he's just circling out while jabbing. So he's stepping up and over, landing the foot on the floor while the jab lands. Salvador Sanchez is also so good at mixing up his combinations. So there, Nelson lands a good right hand to the head, right uppercut. But now you know when Sanchez bends at the waist over his lead leg in this clip. So he's bending at the waist. Usually he likes to come back to the head. But now he just shoots that left hand to the body this time. He's so good at just landing shots by creating those openings. After round 15, Salvador Sanchez just lands a good 1-2-3 here. That puts Azumah Nelson into the rope. So that lead hook hits him. And now he just shoots the right hand to the body. That also hits him. Lead hand to the body. And now this just starts to really wear off Azumah Nelson because all those punches connected. And he's been hit hard over the past rounds. This is the 15th round, bro. 15th. They've been going through war. And Azumah Nelson is still fighting back, man. It's just can't give this guy enough credit. Look at those hard shots he's taken there, though. Look at those hard shots he's taken by Salvador Sanchez. And now that right hand just lands flush. But that hook, this hook... And now you can tell, that's it. If you know boxing, now you know it's it. Because Azumah Nelson doesn't know where his legs are right now. Salvador Sanchez just does the right thing here. He just keeps pressing him and Salvador Sanchez is such an excellent finisher. And you're going to see that right now. So Salvador Sanchez knows that Azumah Nelson is not fully recovered. So he just shot a right hand to the body, lead hand to the head now. And the ref just calls off the fight. Which is a good decision, I think. So Salvador Sanchez
won the fight by knockout. It was a brilliant fight. I really enjoyed doing this film study. I'm down to do more of Salvador Sanchez, and I'm going to continue doing Henry Armstrong. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and study Henry Armstrong for my next fight. It's going to be in good quality because I'm going to ask legends of boxing in color if I can use his footage of Henry Armstrong. So you can enjoy some nice Henry Armstrong film study next week. And yeah, again, man, if you're here supporting me, if you've watched to this point, thank you, bro, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. And to all the guys, listen, bro, if you're here, if you're a day one, Edward, Didi Maxwell, Eric, Enrico, if you, bro, you lot, Gael and the Neoch, bro, if I'm going to remember you lot, if I'm ever going to do big giveaways or some shit, your names are going to enter the raffle multiple times. And as I said, man, thank you so much, boys. I'm going to remember you and I appreciate you for being here. And yeah, man, as always, man, keep your head up, my guy. In a bit. Bless.